There had always been whispers of ice-bound ruins, ancient empires, and powers best left undisturbed. The wise spoke of it with caution. The bold ignored it, but none were truly prepared. For when Northrend stirred, it was not the land that moved first. It was death. In the frozen north, a shadow had risen. The Lich King, Arthas Menethil, now seated upon the frozen throne. His plague of undeath stretched far beyond Icecrown, promising a silence that would swallow all. To answer that threat, the brave and the damned alike set sail. Heroes from every corner of Azeroth, drawn by vengeance, duty, or prophecy, now turn their gaze toward Northrend, toward a forgotten shore where bones whisper beneath the pines and ancient powers stir. Before the banners rise, before the swords clash, before the frost hardens in the blood, there is the sound. The ancient wind screaming through stone, the ocean crashing against the bones of the world, the echo of giants long dead, still walking in dreams. This is Howling Fjord, a land carved in myth, cliffs forged by time's own axe, pines that whisper secrets to the stars. The ships came first, cutting through the mists of the veiled sea. Vessels of war and hope made landfall upon Northrend's eastern edge. The Skybreaker, the Farstrider, the Wavecrest, iron-bound hulls and lion-stitched sails, groaning under the weight of men and memory. At the helm stood the sons and daughters of Azeroth's kingdoms, paladins of Lordaeron, priests of Stormwind, dwarven riflemen, Kaldorei sentinels. For them, this was no mere expedition, it was retribution. Valgarde, a name given to a stronghold of stone and faith. Here the Alliance dug in, cannon emplacements aimed toward the tree line. The cliffs watched, silent and indifferent. But the forest did not watch. It moved. From the south, the clouds parted with a different roar. A zeppelin, black and crimson, pierced the storm front like a fang. Forsaken engineers chanted in guttural tones, feeding blight canisters into sealed holes. Beside them, trolls whispered to fetishes, and blood elves stared northward, eyes gleaming with hunger. The Horde had come to Northrend. Their outpost bore a name steeped in promise and vengeance alike. Vengeance landing. Dark, jagged, crawling with toxins and fury, the base festered against the coast like a wound refusing to heal. But it was not retreat. It was a launch point, and soon the wild would answer. Howling Fjord is not merely a place. It is an ancient wound. Mountains rise like the spears of fallen titans. Forests cling to their slopes, dense and haunted. Waterfalls spill from heights that seem to reach the gods themselves. The sky above is streaked with gray and gold. Morning never fully arrives, and night never truly ends. But the true masters of this land are neither the Horde nor the Alliance. They are the Vrykul. The Vrykul are not merely tall. They are monuments, created as Titan-forged iron constructs in the ordering of Azeroth. The Vrykul were once mighty children of the gods, chosen by the Keepers to walk as warriors and guardians. But when the curse of flesh crept into their blood, their forms grew weaker, more mortal, and their legacy fractured. King Immerse, ruler of the Dragonflayer clan, once led them from the seat of Utgard Keep. When their children began to be born small and frail, the first humans, he deemed them cursed and ordered their deaths. Some obeyed. Others, hearts torn between loyalty and love, defied him, and under cover of darkness smuggled their afflicted young south across the seas to the ancient forested glades of Tirisfal. There, among the shadows of Tyr's tomb and the last remnants of exiled Titanforged, these children would grow in secret. In time, they would become the first humans. With the Titans' silence deafening and their gods absent, the Vrykul turned inward. They burned cradles. They abandoned faith. They placed their hopes in slumber, sealing themselves in great halls like Gjalerbron, awaiting a time of reckoning. And when the Lich King stirred, they awoke. Many saw Arthas as a god of death incarnate. He offered purpose, strength, immortality, and so, once more, they marched. In Gjalerbron, necromancers reanimated kings of ancient blood. Barrow priests chanted oaths in tongues older than the mountains. From Scorn to Valgarde, pyres burned endlessly, offering the souls of the unworthy to hell. And atop it all sat King Immerse, reborn in undeath, a champion of the Scourge. The Vrykul were no longer sleeping. They were hunting. The Alliance fights a war on two fronts, against the land and against time. Valgarde's walls hold for now, but raiding parties strike from the mists. Villages vanish overnight. Scouts find only blood-slick stones and carved bones. To the west, dwarven miners of the Explorers League dig deep into cliffs that whisper. Their lanterns flicker against stone once touched by titans, revealing geometric formations too perfect to be natural, and veins of ancient magic pulsing faintly behind the rock. Above them, an Alliance Zeppelin hovers, an innovation in northern warfare, ferrying reinforcements and supplies from Westguard Keep. Beneath it, a gondola swings silently across the fjord, suspended between impossible heights. From its wooden platform, travelers glimpse both snow-bound wilderness and shadowed ruins far below. To the south, across the icy waters, rests Kamagwa, a peaceful Tuskar village nestled along the coast. These walrus-like natives, long accustomed to the rhythms of sea and ice, offer quiet aid to those who respect their ways. Fishers, storytellers, and spirit speakers. The Tuskar live in harmony with the tides, their curved huts resisting even the bitterest Northrend gales. Though neutral in the war, their wisdom is not forgotten by the Alliance. From Kamagwa's shores, sailors whisper of the dead that do not stay buried, and of spectral Vrykul haunting the seas beyond. For those who listen, the Tuskar tell tales older than the cliffs, of spirits bound by broken oaths, and of beasts that sleep beneath the waves. Their voices are low, their warnings are few, but in Howling Fjord, even kindness wears a coat of frost. The forest holds darker secrets still, a ship strung up by iron chains, left to rot among the cliffs, a warning from the Vrykul. Ice locks its shattered hull in eternal stasis, its crew long vanished, its sails now tattered ghosts. And there are whispers of something stranger. In a frozen lake at the edge of the wilds lies a statue of a centaur woman encased in clear glass-like ice. Locals speak of an ancient curse, of a soul punished for betrayal, or devotion. Beyond her silent vigil, the land climbs. Jagged peaks tear through the sky like the broken fangs of the world. The mountains of Howling Fjord do not offer sanctuary, only challenge. Wind tears down from their heights with the weight of centuries, and the snow hides more than stone. Here too, walk the Tuskar, ancient kin of the Tauren, shaped by the bitter north into something fiercer. Where the Tauren seek balance with the land, the Tuskar bend it to survive. They command the storms, shape the ice, and speak with the spirits in tones rough as the blizzard winds. Once thought lost to time, they were rediscovered by the Horde, and in the shadow of the Lich King's return, their allegiance was rekindled by blood, by memory, and by fire. From windswept camps like Camp Winterhoof, they wage a war not just of survival, but of defiance. Their legends speak of ancestors who once warred near the roots of Vordrassil, before madness and old god whispers poisoned the wilds. Those stories, too, echo in the peaks. In the high places, even silence feels sharper. This is Northrend, the bones of a forgotten war, the breath of something older than kings. The Horde pushes inland, not with armies of orcs, but with chemists, warlocks, and the undead. This is not a campaign of conquest, but of experimentation. The Forsaken apothecaries, ever eager to perfect their poisons, harvest flesh and blood from forest beasts, proto-drakes, and fallen Vrykul alike. Field laboratories spread like rot across the tundra, their alchemical fires lighting the gloom in sickly green. The air grows thick with the reek of corruption, where blight boils in cauldrons tended by skeletal servitors and stitched abominations. At the heart of their efforts is not war, but vengeance. Here, in these frozen woods, the Forsaken seek something beyond victory, a scourge to unmake the scourge itself, a counter-infection, a final answer. They test on everything, anything, even their own dead, reanimated and dissolved, measured and reformed. Black slime crawls through trenches etched by claw and fang. Glowing green runes crackle beneath snow. And above, the skies burn an unnatural hue, as if the world itself is holding its breath. Some say the Titans touched this land once, not with hands, but with purpose. Their relics sleep beneath stone and root, carved with symbols no longer spoken. Every torch lit in these halls only deepens the shadows beyond. And in those shadows, something stirs. Old machines, older wills. The brave dug too deep. Their picks struck more than ore. They struck memory. Memory that screams, that coils, that waits. In the forests, spider silk veils more than trees. It shrouds forgotten paths and the bones of those who strayed too far. Old dangers stir in every hollow, where spiders have grown monstrous and bold. Along the cliffs, ancient lifts still cling to the stone, creaking relics of those who once scaled the world to seek what should not be found. And beyond, waterfalls plunge into the earth's own heartbeat, thundering reminders that some voices from below have never stopped whispering. There are paths you do not walk twice, names you do not speak aloud, doors you do not open. But the fjord remembers. From frost-bitten peaks to emerald-lit skies, from ram-haunted ridges to the last echo of steel on stone. This place is no mere battlefield. It is a monument to forgotten choices, to warnings ignored, to power misplaced. Here, the earth keeps its own secrets, and some doors should have stayed buried. Through whispering woods and scorched remains, through shattered keeps and ghost-wrought chains, where dragon eggs lie in ash and ancient bridges creak and crash. The battles rage, the fjord burns, but the cliffs endure. The Lich King's will, a glacial thread, pulls blade and mind, both living and dead. He does not need to raise a hand, for fear itself obeys command. And those who roam these haunted pines are bound by fate to his cruel designs. So go and fight and burn and bleed, but know you serve his endless need. When silence takes your final breath, he grants you life and calls it death. The Lich King waits, his silence grim. And you, at last, belong to him.